What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Abdullah coming at you with another video for the channel, and welcome back to the Brown Boys Sports Talk. And in today, guys, we have another special guest, Ane. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Doing great. Raza, how about you, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Excited to talk about the free agency rumors and so many rumors, so excited to talk about that.
Yep. Before we get into this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more NFL and NBA content as we try to push out as much fire content out there as possible. And let's get straight to the video. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Abdullah and your boy Raza. For this segment, or this episode rather, we're going to have Raza host and give us some names out there in the NBA that guys that could be looking at a new home or could potentially be staying with their current team. Raza, who are we starting out with?
All right, so basically it's like the gossip that we do in every other episode, but this is like free agency edition. So first name we're starting with is probably arguably a top 3 name here in my list. So James Harden. So do you guys think he's going to stay with Philly? Is he going to pick up the player option? Like, what is going to happen with James Harden?
I think he's staying in Philly. A player option, I don't see why or why wouldn't he, but for certain, I say he's staying in Philly. I mean, the Sixers just traded Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and a few key pieces for James Harden. So they sacrificed a good amount of their team for this guy, and for the performance that he had last year in those playoffs going, I think he shot like only a few shots in that game 6 game against Miami, the elimination game. So I think he's staying in Philly. He's got to run it back with Joel Embiid, who hopefully stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Abdullah. I think he's going to stay in Philly. I really don't think any other team, as of right now, would want him, to be honest. After this last season's performance, I personally wouldn't want him. You know what I'm saying? Like his draft stock, his
value,
his what do you call it? His value has dropped, yeah, because of his previous performance. So I think he just needs to, he needs to settle down. He needs to run it back with Joel Embiid, and he needs to, get shots up and actually start hitting those shots. And, the Sixers are going to, be a good team because we all know, Joel Embiid, a good player, teamed up with Harden. So, I mean, it'll be fun to watch them.
Mm-hmm. And they also have Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey. But one thing that I will always say, and I have said it so many times, guys, James Harden will never win an NBA championship, and I will die by that. The day he does, I will give you guys my life savings.
Really? Which is nothing, by the way. All right, so my thoughts on James Harden is he's definitely for sure staying with the Sixers because you don't trade Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, like 2 first-round picks, all of that for James Harden, and then let him go after 5 months of playing basketball, which he was arguably injured with his hamstring. Is still not perfect as it was when he was with Houston and first year with the Nets before the regular season. He was top 5 in MVP. So it's just that he's been injured and stuff. And do not forget the connection he has with Daryl Morey. He was his GM with the Rockets. He basically discovered James Harden. James Harden was a 6th man in OKC. He trades for him or signs him in free agency. It was a sign and trade. So he does that and he becomes MVP. So basically, Daryl Morey basically discovered him and brought him to Houston and made him an MVP, a top 75 player of all time, many time All NBA, an amazing, top 5 shooting guard of all time. He made him all that. So why would he let him go? So what I feel like he's gonna either pick up the player option this season, and depending on however he plays in the regular season, he's gonna sign a 2. He's not going to sign a big 5-year extension. It's going to be a 2 to 3 year, not too long, but not too short, 2 to 3 year extension with the Sixers, and he's staying there. The thing which is interesting with the Sixers is Tobias Harris because he's making a max and his performance is below par, And then we heard the rumors that since they're trying to get PJ Tucker, we're going to get into that later. They are trying to trade Matisse because to clear cap space and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if they package Tobias and Matisse together, if they can get something, or if it's just like a cap like dump for Tobias Harris and Matisse to try to sign PJ Tucker, who was friends with James Harden from the Houston days, and Daryl Morey was GM there. So, interesting connections there. All right, next name. Abdullah's favorite player, Bradley Beal. How you guys feel about him?
All right, let me go on like an hour rant about Bradley Beal. I'm gonna start it off from the beginning. The Wizards should have rebuild as soon as they traded John Wall to Houston, but now we're in this whole predicament of now giving Bradley Beal $250 million, the supermax, making him the highest paid player in NBA history. Bradley Beal is not a number one option on a championship team, and I love the guy. He's a phenomenal scorer. He's been carrying us, like literally the only reason why the Wizards are relevant and nowadays. And I feel bad for him. I want him somewhere else. I wanted him to be traded, but I think he stays in Washington. And with guys like Kristaps Porzingis, who hopefully can stay healthy, Kyle Kuzma, who, he had a good year last year. Hopefully this Johnny Davis kid can somehow improve this backcourt situation. But $250 million, that's just a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, $250 million is a lot of money for, to be honest, a player that I don't think is worth it. He's not even by far the best player in the league. The best player in the league, LeBron, KD, Giannis, they're not even getting that much. So I don't think Beal deserves it, to be honest. Yeah, he's carried the team. He may think he deserves it. The organization might think he deserves it. But I feel like, I think it's time for him to part ways with Washington. It's been a good journey. It's been a very long journey. And I think he just needs to, at this point, just go to another team, explore other options, get out of, Washington, and, hopefully get paired up with a couple other good players and, eventually win a ring, because that's what I would want for Beal, even if it is less money, I feel like at this point in his career, in Bradley Beal's career, after everything he's been through, I think a ring is going to be more valuable than any amount of money, to be honest, that he's going to get. So that's just my thoughts. I think he should leave, and I think he should go get that ring.
He's also coming off season-ending surgery, so he's been dealing with injuries too. And if availability is questionable, then does he really deserve $250 million? Quarter of $1 billion
is the best ability.
Yeah. You show that, Anthony Davis.
Davis. But I feel like Washington really messed up here, They should have traded him to either like Miami or like Philadelphia for like Tyrese Maxey, Matisse, like maybe Tobias's contract, couple of picks, or like Tyler Hero, like couple of picks, couple of young players, something like that, But now that Washington put themselves into this position, they could have easily traded him like a couple of years ago, as you said, when they traded John Wall, or even when Russ was gone, they could have traded him then, or they could have he might just leave. I don't think he's gonna leave. $250 million is a lot of money. If I'm Bradley Beal, the first second I see that paper, I'm signing on that. Like $250 million, that's like a lot of money. Like Steph Curry, LeBron, Giannis, KD, all these top guys are not even making that much money. And we all can agree Bradley Beal is not like a top 15 player in the NBA. He's not a first guy on a team. He's not a first guy on a championship team. At best, he's a second guy.
He doesn't scare you at the end of the day. He's not a Steph Curry. He's not a LeBron, not a KD, not a Giannis.
He's an elite scorer. He's an elite scorer. That's for sure. Yeah. But $250 million for that is way too much. But if I'm Bradley Beal, obviously I'm signing that. But then the positive for Bradley Beal is that now he's 29. So in like 2 years, he can demand out. He'll be 31, like back end of his prime. He got the bag and he can go get a ring. So that's the good thing for Bradley Beal. Like he can get the money and win, He's winning money-wise and he could get a ring potentially. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think the Wizards messed up. They could have traded him like a couple of years ago, and got like full max value for him because he is like an all-star. Like he won scoring title a couple of years ago. Average
he came in second behind Steph.
Oh, Steph Curry, right? A couple of years ago. Yep. I mean, he's a lead scorer. He's like a top like three like shooting guard in the league. but I don't think I don't think he deserves $250 million at all.
Mhm.
But we're gonna see what happens. Moving on to Zach LaVine, Chicago Bulls, San Antonio Spurs are like the two contending teams for him that where he can end up going. What you guys' thoughts about Zach LaVine?
I essentially think that he's staying in Chicago. I'm pretty sure he has a good relationship with the front office. I don't think anyone else is, going to go after him. I think they know that relationship between him and the Bulls front office is solidified. So I have him getting the max, and Zach stays. Hopefully, Lonzo comes back healthy next year. Vooch, maybe they trade for Rudy Gobert. Who knows? And well, yeah, oh yeah. I just think that they could be a threat in the East if they just stay healthy. We saw that last year. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference, I think, at one point. I mean, Raza, we went to the game. DeMar DeRozan hit a game winner in front of us. I was heartbroken, but the Bulls.
For me, it was fun for me.
The Bulls the people gotta look out for them next year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with parts of what Abdullah said. I mean, I definitely think LaVine's gonna stay. I mean, I think he's there to stay. He's a good young player. The Bulls are a good young team. With Lonzo and everyone else, as Abdullah had mentioned before. So I think he's gonna stay. But I really don't see him as a contender, to be honest. You look at the Bulls record. Yeah, it was good. I mean, there's no question about it. But you look at the teams they played, any team above a .500 win percentage, they lost against,
0-17.
Yeah, they were 0-17 against every team above a .500 win percentage. So, I mean that just shows that they're a good team, but they're also a young team.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan's really the only guy on there with experience, and that too. I mean, it's not the best experience as it is with his previous teams. So I mean, yeah, Zach LaVine stays, but contending wise, I think it's gonna be the same thing as this year, if not even worse.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
If I'm Zach LaVine, personally, I think he's gonna stay with the Bulls. But if I'm Zach LaVine, I'm going to the Spurs. You know why? Last year, when I was injured, the Bulls didn't want to give me a max contract. I had to bet on myself to play without a contract. Now I'm leaving the Bulls. They have no future. Vucevic did not play good last year. They have no backup. They have Patrick Williams, and Kobe White is not even that good. They have Ayo Dosunmu, who's pretty good. But then DeMar, I don't see DeMar repeating that year,
Oh, okay.
He's a really good player, but I don't think he's gonna average I don't think he's gonna be top 5 in MVP again. I just don't see it. And as Nate mentioned, 0-17 against winning teams, and their coaching, their culture, they just don't seem like a team that's gonna win and contend. That's why I'm going to the Spurs. They have a system. They are one of the top 2 or 3 teams that have a culture. With Greg Popovich, arguably the best coach of all time. They have one of the best front offices of all time. That drafted Kawhi, that drafted Tim Duncan, that got Ginobili, Parker, 5 championships in 18 years? Crazy. I'm going there. And they got DeJounte Murray there, my best friend from Washington, from my hometown. I'm getting because he's gonna get $210 million over 5 years. Not either way. I think he's gonna get. Excuse me.
He's gonna get it back. I think that's what essentially.
All right, so basically, he's gonna get around $210 million with the Spurs, which is $10 million less. But I get to play with a good young core with DeJounte, with Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl. They have a better overall because I don't see DeMar repeating that. And then they have a way better culture, similar money. San Antonio, better weather than Chicago. Everything's better. So I'm going to the Spurs. And the most important thing, I had to bet on myself. The Bulls didn't want to pay me the max when I was not when I was injured last year. So I had to bet on myself the entire year. What if I got hurt? I would not be getting. I'll be like an Isaiah Thomas kind of situation. I would not be getting this type of money. DeMarcus Cousins, that type of situation. I'm going to the Spurs, man. All right, so moving on. Next player we want to talk about is one of the biggest names in this class, DeAndre Ayton. What do you guys think about DeAndre Ayton? Where is he going to play?
I think that relationship with him and Phoenix, I think he got a little shaky in the playoff series. A lot of people were saying that it was a big reason why they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 7. I don't know. Maybe he underperformed according to the front office. I just think that he somehow ends up in Detroit. And him in Detroit paired up with that young core, Cade, Sadiq Bey, Jaden Ivey, who just got drafted, they would be really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, DeAndre Ayton definitely underperformed for this previous playoff series. But I don't think it was, what do you call it, his fault at all, to be honest. Yes, he underperformed, but look on the other end of that. They had Dwight Powell. The Mavs had Dwight Powell as their center. You know, obviously he didn't start all the games. They had taken him out because, and I think they had started
Maxi
Kleber. Yeah. Yeah, instead. But I mean, still, I mean, the Mavs centers weren't putting up great numbers. DeAndre Ayton still, in my opinion, did better, and he put in more work than the Mavs centers had. So, in my opinion, it wasn't DeAndre Ayton's fault at all that they had lost that series. To me, it was just Luka Magic that carried them on the whole way. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's not DeAndre Ayton's fault. So, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I think he's gonna stay with the Suns. I think him, yes, CP3 and all their players they're gonna try again, because they did fairly well. Yeah, I mean they had lost against the Mavs. But I think they'll be back at it again, and I think DeAndre Ayton, after having that experience, in that series, he'll continue to grow and be better next year. So I think he stays.
Yeah, I have to agree with Abdullah here. I think the relationship is broken now. You know, you bench your third best guy in a game 7 when he's not performing. If I'm DeAndre Ayton, I'm like, y'all think you can win with JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo and those guys? All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to Detroit or like whoever. San Antonio is like an intriguing place to me also. I'm getting that bag because the Suns had like 2 years to offer him a max. They didn't want to pay him a max. We all saw his value a couple years ago when they went to the finals, when they beat the Lakers in the first round. DeAndre Ayton had a huge part. Although AD was hurt, but DeAndre Ayton is one of the best young big men in the entire league. So if the Suns think they can win, like substitute a big man like a role playing big man like a JaVale McGee, as I said before, okay, let him do that. Then I'm walking or sign and trade to like San Antonio, Detroit, or one of those teams. Whoever throws the bag at me, I'm going there. I think this relationship is broken, and I think he's gonna leave.
Yeah, and also if we counter that, he is the first overall pick. So I just don't know what Phoenix does. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yep. All right, moving on. Our next player is Jalen Brunson. We just got rumors today that Knicks cleared their cap space, so Boyd said they're gonna sign him. They're gonna try to give him about like 4 years, 110 million around there. They just traded Noel and Alec Burks and a couple of second-round picks to Detroit to clear up cap space. So they're pursuing him. And then Mavs are expected to give him a 5-year deal worth around the same money, like 110. It's basically the same money almost, but it's like a year difference. New York is 1 year less than the Mavericks. So what do you guys think? Where's Jalen Brunson going?
I think this all depends on what Jalen Brunson wants to do. If he wants to be that guy, and I think he goes to New York. Obviously, if he stays in Dallas, he'll be under Luka's shadow. But again, it goes back to, do you want to win? Obviously, he has a better chance of winning in Dallas, but going to the Knicks, this is such a Knicks thing to do, overpay for a guy like Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is good, don't get me wrong. But is he really that guy? Yeah, is he going to change the franchise when you have Julius Randle, you have RJ Barrett, these young guys, and you just put Jalen Brunson in the mix? And also, we got to talk about how he's not the greatest when it comes to physicality. He's not that big. So defensively, that could lead to liability for the whole team. Expose him, just ISO one-on-one. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think he goes to the Knicks. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in Dallas.
I think he goes to the Knicks too, to be honest. The Knicks are putting in a lot of effort to free up cap space to get Jalen Brunson. Obviously, that is a very Knicks thing to do, to offer that much money to not the best guy on the team. But I mean, the Knicks need him. Mavs, not so much, to be honest. Honestly, if Jalen Brunson hadn't played in this previous playoff series, I mean, I think he went off for like one game.
One game, like 41. I remember that.
Utah Jazz. Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just he's not consistent. He's not consistently putting on 41. He's always going to be under Luka's shadow, so he can't be consistently putting up those points. So I think he needs to get out of there. I think he's going to go to the Knicks, paired up in the backcourt with RJ Barrett. That'll be fun to watch. You know, RJ Barrett, really good slasher. He can get to the rim very well. And Jalen Brunson can shoot the ball very well. So you have two young guards, and they're both very good at opposite ends of offense. Put them together. I mean, I think it'll be fun to watch. And that's one of the what do you call it? Biggest platforms, Madison Square Garden. I mean, I think it'll be fun to see Jalen Brunson go to New York.
Personally, I think he's staying with the Mavs because if he goes to the Knicks, I think that's too, like the Lakers, Knicks, that's too much of like a big stage to perform at, considering he's like a really good role player, but he's not a star. And then if he goes to the Knicks, they're going to take him as like the savior for the franchise because they've never, like, since Carmelo, they've not gotten like a star caliber type of a player that can like carry the Knicks into like the playoffs or something. So if I'm him, my team got to the Western Conference Finals, and without Tim Hardaway Jr., mind you, we get him back. We got Christian Wood. So our team is going to be better with their pick and roll is going to be crazy. Christian Wood and Jalen Brunson. So my team just went to the Western Conference Finals. We added Christian Wood and basically added Tim Hardaway. We have Luka. I'm going to get the same money, almost. Like, it's like a year difference, but it's almost the same money. I'm going to get the same money. And I get to win, play with Luka in Dallas, no pressure. I'm like the second or third, depending on Luka and Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm definitely staying with the Mavs, considering it's like the same money. I'm winning. I'm winning like as in I'm getting money. I'm winning as in winning games. I'm playing with Luka. Like, what else do you want, man? Although the Knicks did hire his dad as like in the front office to try to get him. But if I'm Jalen Brunson, I'm staying with the Mavs. It's a no-brainer. I'm getting the money and I'm winning games. My team just went to the Western Conference Finals and lost to Golden State, who won the championship. And we added Christian Wood. Are you kidding me? And Tim Hardaway? I'm staying.
It also would be a Knicks thing to do if they cleared all that cap space and still don't get Jalen Brunson. So either way, it's a win-win. Either the Knicks don't get him or they do get him.
Yep. All right. So our last guy for today that we're going to be talking about is Miles Bridges from the Charlotte Hornets. Do you guys? He's a restricted free agent. Do you guys think he's going to leave, or what's going to happen?
So before we get into that, I know all of you guys saw what he posted on social media with, like he had something in his hand and pink lemonade in the other. So that was kind of dumb for Miles Bridges. So that could potentially, make the Charlotte Hornets front office hesitant to give him that much money. And if it's not Charlotte, they don't give him the money. I think he's going to stay in Charlotte, but I wouldn't be surprised because I remember, I think it was one of his team members for his, rap group or production or whatever, Detroit, he played in Michigan State. And again, if you pair it up in Detroit, Cade, Jaden Ivey, if they somehow I don't know if they get DeAndre Ayton, but a young core with Miles Bridges who can just flat out slash and just playmake after playmake, who knows? But I think he's staying in Charlotte with LaMelo.
Yeah, I think he's staying in Charlotte too. I mean, yeah, the whole thing with the Instagram story was pretty stupid, but I mean, I don't think that's going to affect it at all, to be honest. He's a young player. Young players make mistakes. We've seen this happen before. Young guys, money gets to their head. They do make stupid decisions, but I mean, they eventually grow from that.
Montrez.
So I think Bridges is going to grow from that, and I think he's going to continue to be the slasher and to be the go-to wing, the wing player for the Charlotte Hornets, paired up with LaMelo Ball. Obviously, young team. They're looking great. They're playing great, and I mean, it's just fun to watch them. So I personally, I don't know why you would want to get out of that atmosphere, you know. So I think he stays.
I would like to see him stay with the Hornets. One thing is like his connection with LaMelo, like the highlights every single day. They got like two highlights a game, like the alley oops and then the commentator Bridges. Like it's so crazy, it's so tough to watch. But if I'm Bridges, I'm going to the Pistons because they have a better young core. They have They just got Jaden Ivey, Cade, Jalen Duran, Sadiq Bey,
Luka
Killian
Garza.
Hayes, Garza. Okay, I think they let him go though.
Oh, they
I think
did?
I just
Oh,
got
my bad
yeah.
then. Do that.
And then they have Killian Hayes who's still young. So I think it's he gets the same money both places. But I just feel like in Charlotte it's just LaMelo because I don't see like Terry Rozier is good, but like the young core is not as good as it would be with the Pistons. I think Cade can do the same plays with him as LaMelo. Cade is like he has similar like passing abilities. So I think that's not gonna matter too much. But then the young core for the Pistons is like I think it's like better as a young core than the Hornets. So I would like him to go to the Pistons, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then before we end this episode, we also got to talk about some of the rumors, some of the gossip talk, you know, that happened over the NBA last couple of days. So you guys don't even need to react; just react to it. Don't even say nothing, you know. So as we said, the Knicks traded away Alec Burks and Noel to get cap space. The Minnesota Timberwolves signed Torian Prince to a 2-year, extended him for a 2-year, $16 million dollar deal. And then this one I want to talk about. PJ Tucker to 76ers. I love this for the 76ers. Although PJ is 37, but we all saw what he did this year. He's a knockdown shooter from like the right corner. He's like amazing defensively. Although KD was averaging like 40 in that series, but he's just so like he's good. Like he's like a tough defender, you know, like hard nose. You know, he's not gonna make it easy on you. I think he's one of the best defender. Like underrated. He's very very underrated. Although he's 37, and it's gonna be a risk giving him like a 3-year contract because if he gets old, like and his defense is not the way it is now, you know, it's not like he's not gonna be able to be on the court. But then don't forget Daryl Morey and James Harden, Houston days. I think he's going to end up with the Sixers, and they trade Matisse to make cap space for him. So, what do you guys think about PJ Tucker to
I
Philly?
think I think that's gonna happen, but also that could be a risky move because Matisse is one of like the
I'll
best
take him
young
right now.
defenders in the NBA, and you get PJ Tucker, who's obviously great defensively, 3-and-D. You know, also James Harden, that connection with Daryl Morey, but you lack a young guy, and PJ Tucker is 37. That's the same age as LeBron James, so he's not getting any younger. But I think he goes to Philly.
Honestly, can't say. I think he stays. To be honest, um, I just don't see it happen. You know, if he goes, or maybe not the Sixers, maybe somewhere else. But like you were saying, Abdullah, I don't think the Sixers. It would make sense for them to trade away a young bull, great player, great offensive player, for a prehistoric dinosaur. You know, he's just, like you all said, he's 37 years old. He got like what, a year left in the tank for him. Like, let's be real. He could be signed for a 3-year deal, but he's only going to play like 1 or 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that value is going to be lost. You cannot expect a 40-year-old man, okay, to be guarding the likes of like KD and Steph. You know, that's just absurd, completely absurd to ask of him. Yes, he's a good defender, but age is the biggest factor right now. Sixers, they have a young player. They have a young, good player with Matisse. PJ Tucker, good player, but he's older. For me, that trade would be a high risk, low reward type deal. So I mean, I think he stays.
I think PJ Tucker would be a good addition to the LA Lakers, if you ask me, when it
I
comes
would
to
love to see that.
retirement home, you know?
We don't have the money for it though. You know, he wants like a multi-year contract. The contract he's trying to sign with Philly is 3 year, 30 million. So it's 10 years, like 10 mil a year, and it's 3 years. I don't think anyone else is gonna offer him that deal. You know, so I think he's going there. That's why.
But that's pretty much it, guys, for today's episode. Thank you, Raza, for hosting for that segment. And thank you guys for watching, staying tuned with the Brown Boy Sports Talk. Before we leave, do you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, thanks to Ane. You know, we had a great episode. You know, he had some great analysis. And Ane, do you want to shout out your social media or anything?
Dude, I don't remember in my social media. I think my Instagram is my name, so it's ANNAY _ and then 88, so 88. So yeah.
And he's a very famous man, if you guys couldn't tell, because But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more NFL and NBA content as we try to push out as much content out there as possible. And that's out, and we're out. Peace.